Good evening, everybody. Good evening, YouTubers. This is the Dangerous News Network, where the content is uncut, uncensored, and unbelievable. And this is your host, Daniel McFarland. And tonight's topic is going to be about the Detroit Pistons. Yes, Detroit Pistons versus the New Orleans Pelicans went down last night. Their record right now is, let's see what their record is. They're 8 games and 12 losses. Yes, I think that's right. This is the 20 game analysis. The Detroit Pistons had 20 games. Yes, the Detroit Pistons had 20 games. Well, here's what happened. The Detroit Pistons and the New Orleans Pelicans, they went to overtime last night, and the New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Detroit Pistons. And here's how the New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Detroit Pistons. Poorest defense from our fucking front court. Yes. Josh Smith, unwilling to play defense. Greg Monroe stinks at playing defense. Can't guard a folding chair if his life depended on it. Couldn't defend a folding chair. Couldn't guard a folding chair if his life depended on it. And Andre Drummond, he doesn't get off the hook either. Jason Smith and Ryan Anderson looked like a fucking Hall of Famer against Andre Drummond. Well, the 4-game win streak, yeah, they did beat Miami during that 4-game win streak, but that 4-game win streak was a century ago. And it was blind luck, pretty much. But we do have a point guard. We do have our point guard, Brandon Jennings. But Joe Dumars missed the boat more than he made some right decisions. That's right. We were 6-10 after 16. We were 10-10 after 20 games, and now we've lost 3 straight. We're 10-13 right now. I have it correct now. The Detroit Pistons are 10-13 right now. They're a mediocre team, and would have been so much worse if the Eastern Conference was any good. The Detroit Pistons, they can't be a halfway decent team will flatten the Detroit Pistons, more than likely. They can't. Well, it's not because of their offense so much. Now, 3-point shooting, that is somewhat of a problem, but that's overblown a little bit. But it's that defense. That's the real problem. Josh Smith, if he was willing to play defense, he could. Greg Monroe, he sucks on defense. And Andre Drummond, he needs to just get his conditioning up. He needs to get his conditioning up. It's more of a conditioning issue with Andre Drummond. It's more of an effort issue with Josh Smith, and it's a talent issue with Greg Monroe. We need to get that shit together. Yes. I would cash in on Rodney Stuckey and Greg Monroe at the trade deadline. Yes. Rodney Stuckey, we've seen his inconsistent ass long enough to know that he probably isn't going to repeat. And if he does, it's going to be in a contract year. Brandon Jennings, yeah, he has his faults on defense, but the bigger problem is Greg Monroe and his lack of defensive talent. It's his lack of defensive talent. And Josh Smith, lack of effort. And Andre Drummond, lack of conditioning. That's what's being pointed out. Kevin Love is what a max player looks like in the NBA. No doubt about it. Kevin Love, he schooled the Detroit Pistons and their entire team. Kevin Love, yes. If Joe Dumars was willing to trade Stuckey, we could have had Kevin Love. Kevin Love, not only is he better than what the Detroit Pistons have, he's a superstar and a max player, unlike Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe will never be more than maybe a 15 points per game guy. And he might give you about 8, 9, maybe 10 rebounds. Not bad, but not great. And certainly not worth a max contract. I would be trading Greg Monroe if I was Joe Dumars. We need to do nothing to have the cap limited for by the time it's time for Andre Drummond to be extended. Josh Smith, yeah, we're stuck with him for better or for worse. But it may not be it wouldn't have been a bad thing if he tried on defense and if he stopped chucking those threes. It wouldn't have been a problem. I would accept Jason Thompson. And I would accept, what's that other guy, a shooting guard? What's that shooting guard's name? And Trevor Ariza in a three-way trade. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has not proven anything yet. Yeah, he might actually get it. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope might actually get it. But Trevor Ariza, he's a proven guy. He's a proven guy right now. I would trade for Trevor Ariza, and I would trade for Jason Thompson. Jason Thompson can hit the mid-range shot, unlike Greg Monroe. And Trevor Ariza can shoot the three. We can live with Josh Smith not being great at the three-point line if Josh Smith puts in the fucking effort. That's the truth. If Josh Smith puts in the fucking effort, we could live with Josh Smith, unlike Ben Gordon and Charlie Bill in the waiver. That's all I got to say about the Detroit Pistons for the last 7 games. Well, namely the Detroit Pistons versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And this is the Dangerous News Network. I'm Daniel McFarland, and I approve this message.